What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. So I'm back with my segment, What's Next? I want to spend some time talking about Robert Guerrero. What do I see for the future? What do I want to see? What don't I want to see? And let's get into it. As far as Robert Guerrero, he turned in a fight of the year caliber performance yesterday. Not necessarily in the best way. If you don't know what I'm talking about, watch the fight. If not, watch my post-fight where I talked about it. And again, it was a great fight, very entertaining, but he made it a lot harder than it should have been. And I think if you look at the other world-class opponents in the welterweight division, which is highly stacked, then I think all of those dudes would have had an easier night with this Kamagai. Because at the end of the day, Kamagai didn't really exude anything that was just excellent. Like, he didn't have excellent head movement or speed or power. You know what I mean? He looked like a guy who was pretty tough and could probably crack a little bit and had some power. And that's it. He didn't look like anything special. And Robert Guerrero went life or death, got his eyes swole up. So, first order of business, my personal opinion, I would never try to remove a father from his son. However, I think in this case, it's fitting. I think Robert Guerrero, if he wants to be considered world class, needs to part ways. Sometimes dealing with family is the hardest thing to do. You know what I mean? You love them, but then they piss you off and different things like that. I understand it. You don't want people to catch feelings, but this is your career. Robert Guerrero also a family man. He has a wife who survived cancer. He has kids. You got to look out for your career. And I think Ruben Guerrero is not the answer for his career. I just think he's kind of an emotional dude. And by emotional, I mean he's always like, of course he loves his son, but he's always talking crazy. He just did an interview where he was bashing Amir Khan, saying Robert Guerrero will beat Amir Khan. Basically, Amir Khan's ducking or dodging. Whether you like Amir Khan or not, he has a solid resume. And he basically said they tried to make a fight in the past, Guerrero or Khan. Khan's ducking. Then they asked him about Keith Thurman, and that's a guy who's outright down to fight. He called Guerrero out, said he wanted to fight, and he just keeps saying that Keith Thurman's a country singer, talking about Keith Urban. So he's like, oh, who is that? Who's he beat? What does he have, an interim title? But guess what? Your son had an interim. This is the funny double standards for boxing. In the interview, Ruben Guerrero says, who the fuck is he basically? Who is Keith Thurman? Who is he beat? How many titles does he have? What does he have, an interim title? And uses that as a ploy not to fight Keith Thurman. Yet, you landed the Mayweather fight. The only reason Robert Guerrero landed the Mayweather fight was because he was the mandatory. And he had a, interim title. So, when it was advantageous for your son, Robert, to land a big payday fight with Mayweather based on having that interim title, you're all for it. Now you got a guy who's feared in the division, and I don't know about y'all, but I would love to see Guerrero versus Keith Thurman. Now you're saying he hasn't beat nobody. It's funny, man. So many fucking boxing politics. It's easy for fighters to say, oh, why should I fight him? Who's he beat? Yeah, if you don't give the motherfucker any opportunities, yeah, he's going to have a suspect resume. There's people like Gary Russell Jr. who have been guided along very slowly, and it's based on their management. The fans were requesting him to fight better and stiffer competition, and for whatever reason, his opponent was always to be determined. Keith Thurman, I don't believe that. I don't think that's the case. I think a lot of guys don't want to mix it up with Keith Thurman. Therefore, he's having to settle for the Julio Diaz's of the world or Jesus Soto Karash, just kind of the Expendables cast and shit in boxing. So that's a big difference. I would love to see Robert Guerrero versus Keith Thurman, but it looks like they're content, at least Ruben, making jokes about Keith Thurman being a country singer. I just really think Robert Guerrero needs to find a different trainer, someone his father brought him up to this point and got him as far as he could. I just don't think he's the right fit for Robert. Ruben Guerrero's also a type, and in addition to the emotion, he just seems like he trains like a street fighter. Like, oh, Robert's a warrior. He's a warrior. Like, okay, we get it. He's a warrior. He could take a punch. Cool. Boxing is so much more than that. And that's all Guerrero, he's a warrior. He baby nuts. Like, calm down. Like, the fuck. And that's not boxing. And I'm telling you, mark my fucking words, If Robert Guerrero goes up against one of these young, hungry lion in the division, Sean Porter, Kell Brook, a fighter like Keith Thurman, even Pacquiao, who's not young in comparison in boxing years, he's going to have severe fucking problems. I'm telling you. Even Amir Khan, as long as Amir Khan can stay, you know what I mean, out of harm's way, I think he'll be cool. And I think Amir Khan is severely going to bother Robert Guerrero. Now, I don't even know what Guerrero's true power is because he has not, he's hurt guys, like he hurt Berto, but Berto to me seemed more hurt by Jesus Soto Caras than he did when he fought Robert Guerrero. He got knocked down or whatever off a long layoff, but in the Soto Caras like stopped him, whereas after Berto was hurt and his eye was swelled the fuck up, Guerrero didn't stop him and actually looked worse in the second half of that fight. So honestly, I don't think Guerrero has that shocking of power at welterweight. So Amir Khan, he said he was killing himself to make weight. Amir Khan would give him severe problems, in my opinion. It would be an interesting fight. I would love to see Amir Khan versus Robert Guerrero. But if Amir Khan can protect his chin and stay safe and, you know what I mean, then that speed, Mayweather already unlocked kind of that blueprint to Robert Guerrero. Speed bothers him. And then Ruben Guerrero's talking about they would stop Pacquiao in 6 to 9 rounds or whatever on Ellie Seckback's channel. So shout out to the homie Ellie. You didn't even stop Kamagai, and you're talking about stopping Pacquiao, who's proven elite, who is faster, has power. He's a southpaw as well. Like, come on, man. I really think Robert Guerrero needs to go on his own, partner with maybe even a Robert Garcia, another California guy who's of Latino descent, but is going to give you some more fundamentals. You see the work Robert Garcia has done with Maidana. I think he needs that. It's cool to brawl a bit, but to me, I don't think pure brawler was Robert Guerrero's forte back in the day when he was in the lighter divisions. Since his father, it's like Robert Guerrero is fighting to make his father proud. It's like, have you ever known a friend who they don't want to play baseball, they don't want to play football in school, but their dad wants them to play baseball or football, so they keep playing it? That's kind of what I feel with Robert Guerrero versus Ruben Guerrero. It's like he wants to fight this brawler because that's what he wants his father to see. That's his father's like, oh, you have to be a warrior. Like, that's why he's fighting like that. I think Robert Guerrero, at least what I've seen in the past, can box a bit more. He's not just like a straight banger, but he's trying to impress his father or some shit. That's why I think he needs to leave him as a trainer, because that fighting style is going to get you hurt when you step up in class. Kamagai was supposed to be a quote-unquote showcase stepping stone, and you damn near went life or death. So you put in Amir Khan, you put in a fucking Manny Pacquiao, of course. We already seen Mayweather body you. You got young, hungry lions like Sean Porter, Keith Thurman, Kell Brook winner. I mean, that style might work against a guy one-dimensional like Kamagai. I don't think that's going to work with the Sean Porter, Kell Brook, and damn sure ain't going to work with the Keith Thurman, who has the power. You're not going to be able to take all the... I'm watching Keith Thurman blossom as a fighter, and if you have zero defense, then I think you're going to have a long night with Keith Thurman. You're not going to want to take all those shots flush. You know what I mean? That's just my personal opinion. So I'm from the Bay Area. Robert Guerrero's from the Bay Area. Wish him the best of luck. I'm just giving my honest opinion. I think speed is definitely going to trouble Robert Guerrero. So stay away from a Pacquiao fight. If you get it, great. But fighting how you fought yesterday against Pacquiao, money's definitely on Pacquiao. Even Amir Khan. Like I said, if Amir Khan can stay out of harm's way and like avoid desperation shots, he has this new style with Virgil Hunter where he's like boxing, clinching a bit more, making wiser decisions. That speed, once again, is going to fuck with Robert Guerrero. Another fight that I really would love to see, which is to me a more winnable fight, is another guy who's not a true welterweight, and that's Adrian Broner. The backstory's already there. They were in my neck of the woods in Oakland, confronted each other, and Guerrero's like, oh, no pussycat weight, blah, blah, blah. And then Broner was like, send the contract, send the AB. So I would love to see that, and that is a better fight because Broner, to me, is not a true established, acclimated welterweight as well. Robert Guerrero's punching power, it's iffy to me. I say he's like a 6.2, 6.5 out of a 10. He has the power to stop lesser fighter, you know what I mean, like a C-class fighter, but I don't really think he has the power to just not one punch knock out any of the top welterweights. I don't see it, you know what I mean? Kamagai went the distance, Andre Berto, Celtic Iden, all those dudes went the distance. And bringing up Iden, now I know he lost to Soto Kras and he's taken some losses since, but if you look at his most recent fight, Celtic Iden got stopped by a guy who's probably less of a puncher, and that was through good boxing. So you got to look at it. Robert Guerrero must be doing something wrong. Celtic Iden, when you went, you kind of went life or death with him. Obviously, that was the first fight after a long layoff, but you still went life or death. And recently, Celtic Iden got knocked out just through attrition, through volume, through boxing. So, I don't know, man. Hopefully we get these good fucking fights. Let me know what you guys want to see from Robert Guerrero. I think Adrian Broner should be high on his priority list. He probably wants to stay away from Amir Khan and Pacquiao, guys with speed, or guys with tremendous power like a Sean Porter, Kell Brook, even if Kell Brook can beat Sean Porter, or Keith Thurman. Because fighting the style he wants, these guys are established, powerful guys at welterweight. So I know he has a granite chin. He can take a shot, but it might get ugly in there because those guys are going to sprinkle in some boxing, unlike Kamagai. Let me know what you guys want to see next from Robert Guerrero. That's really all I got to say. Make sure you like the video as always. Hate, comment, or subscribe. Till next video, it's Ego signing off.